All right, this chapter is going to be all about focusing, and a whole chapter dedicated to focusing. I don't know. Yes, for sure, a whole chapter dedicated to focusing. So there's a lot to know about focusing. There's different focusing modes, different times when you're focusing, your autofocus just will not work. Autofocus is great. I use it all the time. I also use manual focus when I need to. You just got to know when's the best time to use your manual focus and when's the best time to use your autofocus. Sometimes you can only do it manually. I don't know if there's a time when you can only do it auto, but auto works great a lot of the time. So it's a lot quicker. Auto works great. As far as focusing goes, I have no problem using autofocus. But manual focus is necessary, and it's necessary to know how to use it and when are the best times to use it and things like that. So enjoy. With your camera, there's basically two ways to focus. There's autofocus and manual focus. But within your autofocus, there are two types of autofocus. There's one-shot autofocus, which is you focus and shoot one shot at a time. It's the way that I normally use my autofocus. I use it all the time. And then there is also AI Servo. Now AI Servo it's a way that your camera does calculations extremely fast, where if something's coming towards you and you focus, because in the time that you focus to the time that you shoot, the object may already be out of focus. What AI Servo does is it calculates the motion of the object, and it'll go ahead and change your focus just as you fire so that the object stays in focus as it's coming towards you. Coming towards or going away. So that's what AI Servo is. The other mode is called AI Focus Autofocus, and what it does is basically a combination of the two. It switches from one shot to AI Servo when it calculates when something's moving to and away from you, and so it'll use the other. And if something's staying still, then it just uses your regular autofocus. So basically there's two modes. The third one is a combination of the two. It decides for you when to do it. I'm never really a big fan of when the camera's deciding what to do for you at different times. If it works for you and your camera has a very solid version of it, and you can find that it works all the time, and it's use it. It's all good. I personally just use the one-shot AF pretty much all the time. So I've found very little need for the other focus. I shoot pretty fast. But I'm sure I'll find a time when I use it. I just don't use it too much right now. Who cares what I use? Those are your two autofocus modes, and then of course there is the manual mode. Most cameras, they have these little there's a little design within the viewfinder. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's usually about 9 different spots, and those are your autofocus points. Now within your camera, you can change your autofocus points, and every camera is different. So I would advise you to check your manual. But basically, you can change where the camera is going to focus when it does focus. So you could say, hey, focus over here on this side of the picture, so that you can frame something up and have it focus on this person over here. You can have it focus over here, or there's 9 different points. Personally, I like to use the center. I use the center, one, because that's where the camera meters, as well as that's where it focuses. If I have it focusing there and I put that on my subject, I know that the camera is going to focus on that and meter it, and it gives me a very clear reading of what's going to happen in my metering, in my meter, and also when I see that it's focused there. And then I reframe up in order to frame it the proper way. So not everything I shoot is going to be right in the direct center of my frame, but I meter it. I focus it there first. So I focus it and then reset, focus, reset, and then shoot. Of course, focus, reset, shoot, focus, reset, shoot. And so I frame it up after I focus. I just find that that focal point is going to be the best one. So the other ones, the other focal points, they're supposedly good. I don't use them. I rarely use them. I rarely use the hole where it focuses on everything all at once, because you can focus on everything all at once and they'll light up all over. The camera doesn't always choose the best spot for you to focus. So I like to focus on the center spot. Use that and then reframe up. Of course, you can always do what you want to do, and get the pictures that you want to get, however you want to get them. So good luck to you. When you focus on a subject, you'll know it, because the little point that you have your focus on, it'll glow red, or your camera will even beep, beep, beep. Now, I personally turn off that mode in my camera because I find it very annoying to be at a wedding or at an event where things are quiet, and you're taking pictures and these little beep, 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 beep all the time. So go into your camera, figure out how to turn that off. That's what I would suggest, just because you'll know when that little light lights up. So you don't have to have a little beep tell you. So when the little red light goes on, that means you're in focus. When you're framing a person, what you want to do is focus on their eyeball. So get the camera, focus on their eyeball and then reframe, reset them up so that they're sitting right in the frame. But focus on someone's eyeball. Just make sure that you're focusing on the right part of your picture, the part that you want to be the focus of the picture. Focus on it. You know, make sure that your camera's focused on that, and then reframe and get it right. So, you know, that'll work out for you. It works out for me. There are going to be times when your autofocus will fail altogether, and you know, the pictures are moments in time, and they come and they go, and if you don't catch them, they're gone forever. So you don't want to be fumbling around with your autofocus, and there are certain times to know when to use your manual focus. You just won't even try your autofocus because you know they'll work. The situations are, there may be more, but here's the ones that I'm very familiar with. So shooting through a fence or a cage or anything that has gridded lines, if you're shooting through sometimes even a screen or anything that's got gridded lines on it that you're shooting through, your camera tends to want to focus on the gridded lines. So if you're taking a picture through a fence, you're going to get a picture of a fence. So you're going to want to go ahead, throw it on manual focus, manually focus at your subject, which is beyond here, and that fence will go out of focus, and you'll see, you know, what's on the other side. Reflective objects such as cars or you know, glassware, anything that's very reflective, your camera has a hard time focusing on. So what you want to do is immediately go to manual focus, find the right focus, make sure that it's, you know, looks good to you, and fire away. So, you know, in those situations, you don't want to rely on your camera's autofocus. You don't even want to try with your autofocus because you're going to miss the moment. So, you know, don't miss any moments. Use your manual focus when the time is right. Other situations would be things that have no contrast or very little contrast, such as the blue sky or a white wall. Anything that doesn't have a lot of contrast or lines for the camera to find and focus, then it's going to have a hard time doing that. And then also in low lit situations. So sometimes you're going to be in a situation where the light's very dim, and you know, you just need to throw it on manual focus and focus manually, and you know, just have confidence in yourself, and you'll be able to do it. And you'll get used to it. You'll get used to which way to turn it and where it is. There's a distance reader on your lens. Every lens has pretty much got a distance reader, and it'll tell you at this many feet, whatever's at that many feet is going to be in focus. And so you can, you know, use it. It's there for a reason. So, you know, if you just look at that, you can start gauging, you know, which way you're going for if something's closer or further away. So you just know that it's going to be on this many feet away, and you know, if you do it this way, it's going to go, you know, for someone further away. If you do it this way, it's going to go for someone closer. So just go ahead and, you know, get used to it, practice at it, practice your manual focus, so that when the time comes that you have to use it, you're ready to use it, and you're comfortable and you're confident, and you can get every shot that you want. So manual focus is it's a very intricate thing to learn, and but it's simple. It just comes natural. Once you start doing it, it comes naturally, and you feel it, and the camera's an extension of yourself. And the more you understand it, and the more you can do it without thinking, the better you get, and things become cake, baby. So, you know, you can get some great shots. Just, you know, do it to it. So in retrospect, there are different kinds of metering modes that your camera has. You know, learn them all, find out which ones work best for you. Your autofocus modes are very handy. Your single shot's the one that I find most handy. The servo one will come in handy in very specific situations. Your metering spots on your camera, choose them. Choose which ones you want to use. I prefer that center one. I pretty much stick with it exclusively. But you know, if you want to use any of the other ones for in any reason, you know, do yourself a favor and, you know, just get to know where they are and get to know, you know, when they're going to come in handy. I would suggest not using the camera's auto picking which one it wants to use. You know, pick the one you want to use yourself. Your camera is not going to know the right one on every situation. You will. Every situation, you're going to know what you want in that picture. So your camera, maybe, but mostly not. And then your manual focus. You know, learn when the time is to use it. Learn it before you find yourself in the situation that you have to use it, just so that you'll know. Just so that you'll have a feel for, you know, how it works, which way to focus. Some of these lenses are very, very, like, they're very tender, you know, they're very specific. Any little tiny movement will change it a lot. But some of the higher end lenses, you know, you have a lot of range where you can focus and it feels real smooth and real good. So you know, that has to come into mind when you're choosing a lens and when you're using a lens. You know, how much play do you have in that focus? And so when you're in a situation, you can choose the right lens, and you know that you have a good feel for it, and you know what it's going to be like. So focusing is very important, and you know, when you find that you learn it and you know it in and out, you know, there's not a lot to it, but it's extremely important. And you know, the better you know it, the better your photography is going to be. So I hope that's taught you a lot about focusing and your camera's modes, and you know, good luck to you.